day in the life of a designer. What we primarily going to be talking about tonight is branding over trends. Typically, trends, they get attention, but, brands, they build trust, especially when you're doing branding. So the brands that last don't chase what's popular. They build an identity that people can recognize. And, the thing is that trends don't really build any, true legacy for your brand. It's just a highlight moment for what you're doing overall. So the thing about it is that why would you rather have one viral product, or would you just rather, brand people, build a brand that people will remember for, 30 years. Trends are, temporary, but, branding is long term. The difference between the two is creating for the algorithm versus creating with a purpose. And a trend can introduce people to your brand, but your brand is what keeps them coming back. So ultimately what we're saying is that it's not a bad thing to do trends, but don't make it a habit and don't make it, something that you're looking for each time you get ready to drop a collection, because 9 times out of 10, when you do it that way, you typically will miss out on the trends. So, what is branding? Branding is, a logo isn't just a logo, a color palette, and a name. It's a philosophy, a reputation, a promise to your customer, to the overall, community, and the customer experience and consistent point of view. If someone, removed your logo, like we've been talking about in the past few streams, would they be able to recognize your work? Why great brands don't chase every trend? Not every trend aligns with the vision. And that's what I've been, trying to pretty much put out there to y'all on a consistent basis, is that everything that you do has to align with your brand vision, identity, and mission. You feel me? Following every trend can dilute your identity, because eventually you're going to tap into something that has nothing to do with what your brand has to offer, or even, is pretty much speaking on. Great designers observe trends, but, they filter them through, their brand philosophy. Just like I've been saying, you got to ask, before adopting a trend, does it fit our identity? Will it still make sense in 5 years? And does strengthening or weakening the brand happen when I implement this trend? It's a part of building a recognizable identity. It comes down to things like design language and having a signature style, with the way that you put together aesthetics and different pieces, along with the collections as well too. The storytelling behind each collection, each, piece of content that you're putting out, the photography, the typography in your designs, the imagery in your designs, the product quality overall, the customer experience overall, and communication. Recognition comes from repeating your values and visual identity over time. That's why people are successful. It's because they're pretty much doing similar shit over and over again, to where, the crowd likes it. It's just a tad bit different. It ain't that much different. So, it's just a part of building brand equity that is earned. Every interaction builds or weakens the trust through every product release, every live stream, podcast or broadcast. Customer conversations, promises you plan to keep, people invest in brands they trust, not just products they like. You feel what I'm saying? So overall, the main thing is that when you are building, you want to be branding. That's how we started out, was putting together content, collections that were not only timeless, but recognizable to the rest of the world. So the more and more that we put out newer collections, the more the content, the pieces, apparel overall have a signature style. People can resonate with those styles, those experiences within the messages and the pieces and apparel, you know? So it's just a matter of what's a brand you admire because it stayed true to its identity. Me personally, I fuck with Stussy just because even though I don't even think their owner is still alive, or owns the company anymore, but you know, they still stay true to everything that they started with. Like, they don't go left, they don't go right. They might add, a couple of things here and there from time to time just to stay with the times. But overall, every piece, everything down to the T to the content pretty much resonates with the brand. Have you ever bought something because of the brand rather than the product? No, because a lot of these brands, even though, there is some that are good at what they do, you know what I'm saying? Like, only brand that I probably actually bought something from because of the brand was Gucci. And that was just because, they stay true to their design process too. Now, as far as the last couple of years, I wouldn't say so much. But, they've stayed true for the most part. So, like, me personally, I like to mainly buy things that I need more so than I want. So that's why, I really haven't bought anything, at least recently that, was a product that was, actually worth buying because of the brand. Are you building something that's memorable or simply following what's popular? That's what you got to ask yourself. Like, that's what it all really comes down to with everything that you're doing. Are you being different? Or are you just being the same? And it's okay to be the same because it's quicker money. It already resonates with people. As long as it's got a little bit of difference to it, people go rock with it as long as it stays cool, you feel me? But there's also, the downside to that too. Like, people may just not think it's cool enough anymore. Or, like I said with trends, they fade. So, it's better to build something that's memorable. It's better to build something that is going to last the test of time. And it's better to have something to where people can come back to it. You don't want something to where, people just buy one time and don't really, think to come back or, even be interested enough to come back. Trends can put you into, certain conversations, but branding is what keeps you there. Every decision you make strengthens or either, weakens the identity of the brand. The goal isn't to be everywhere, it's to be unmistakable. When you recognize your philosophies before they recognize your logo, you built a brand, not just a business. You feel me? That's what it pretty much comes down to. Building a brand, not just a built business. Because pretty much a business is just a storefront, digitally or physically. So, you gotta create designs that are recognizable but also unique. That's why I use elements of art with mine, because abstract art is everywhere. Surreal art, not so much, but it's in a lot of things. So it's two things that resonate with people. Only difference is that it's new because it's coming from me. Feel me? So just think about that as, you know what I'm saying, you're building your brand, you're creating your products, you feel me? You got to think about, building things that last the test of time, building something that, you know, people want to come back to, building something that you would even want to wear yourself. Because if you will wear your clothes, somebody else will wear that shit too. That just lets you know. Like, and I'm not talking about like, oh yeah, you designed it, it's fire. No, you literally would, you look at the design after you're finished and you say, yeah, I will buy that in the store. That's when you know you have a good product. And then at that point, it's just marketing. You gotta, develop your marketing skills. You gotta end up, you know what I'm saying, learning how to run paid ads, learning how to, you know what I'm saying, make solid business cards and flyers and know where to, place them. Me personally, when I do make business cards and flyers, I put them in, local convenience stores, just because everybody walks in and out of them joints. So typically every time I put flyers in those locations, they fly right out the window. So, you just got to come up with a solid plan. Like I always say on the end of these live streams, do the solid research and execute that motherfucker to the fullest. You feel me? And your dreams and goals will come to fruition. Like I said, in the beginning of the live, make sure that you like and subscribe. Make sure that you, share the live with your friends and family, so that way they can get the knowledge that, we're giving here too. And then on top of that, they can just see and stay up to date with what we're doing here at Dreams of Rulers as well too. We got the From the Mud collection out right now. It's available on our website. We have men, women, and kids pieces available. We also got, the spoken word album, which is available on all streaming platforms. And we also got the poetry book that's available in ebook and print on all book platforms. So definitely tap in. Definitely, let us know on our socials, and also on our, give us a review on our website as well too. We definitely need your support, and that's what's going to help us to grow. I appreciate, all the day ones. And if today is your first day, I appreciate you for being a day one today, you know what I'm saying? So, like I always say, keep visualizing and keep growing. But I'm out. Catch y'all tomorrow on the next stream.